Okay. Hey, the fashion industry moves fast, with many consumers snapping up the latest fads. But that means what we don't wear anymore is ending up in either incinerators or rubbish tips around the world. Put it this way, nearly 60% of all clothing made is tossed out within a year of being made. So could slowing down and buying more sustainably be part of the solution? Let's find out, because August Bard Bringéus is the co-founder and CEO of Asket and joins us all the way from wonderful Sweden. Good to see you.
Thank you.
This is a big problem, right? The fashion industry. It's only sort of coming to the headlines now. I mean, people, the environmentalists love to target aviation. It has some issues. Fashion produces more CO2 emissions than global shipping and aviation combined. It's a huge problem.
It is. It is indeed a huge problem. The fashion industry is right now putting out over 100 billion pieces of clothing every year, and 60%, as you mentioned, ends up in incinerators or landfills within 12 months of creation. It's just unfathomable.
So you've done slow fashion, sustainability. You're not the only ones out there. What do you do different?
Right. So first, off the top of the bat, we probably won't actually call ourselves a sustainable fashion brand. There's no such thing as sustainable fashion or sustainable consumption. Every choice we make, every breath we take has an impact. What we will do differently is that we're not actually trying to sell more clothes to you. We're trying to help people buy fewer but better items, care for them longer, with a permanent collection instead of seasonal collections. So.
And how do you do that? Because I was going to use the word sustainable, but I'm going to go away from that. But I mean, how do you change in terms of the supply chain, things like, and also mindset, right? Getting the consumer's mindset right.
Yeah. So the key to change the consumer's mindset is to restore the value, the appreciated value of clothing. Right now, we're used to buying T-shirts for less than the cost of a lunch, literally. And naturally, we don't appreciate the clothing if it's so cheap, if it's cheaper to replace than to repair, basically. So we need to restore the notion of clothing being handcrafted, because that is what it is. Handcraft, precious human labor and natural resources.
But do we have that out there? Because, I mean, is that skill being lost? Because, you know, it's the machinery now making this cheap stuff. That's a tough task, isn't it?
It is, but the reality is that clothing actually hasn't seen so much innovation, or the fashion supply chain hasn't seen so much innovation. It's analog and mechanical. And the only way that it's become faster and cheaper to buy clothing is by fragmenting and globalizing the supply chain and putting the locations of manufacturing so far away that we can't see them and we can't be held accountable for the impact that it has on people and planet.
And you're a global brand in the sense that people can buy online, right?
Exactly.
And so if I'm in Australia, I could buy clothes from you?
You can.
You have to ship them, though, don't you?
We do have to ship them.
There's a footprint there, isn't there?
There is a footprint, indeed. We actually penalize express shipping because it obviously requires air freight. And so the only way we could circumvent that for Australians particularly would be to open a warehouse in Australia, which we don't yet have the resources to do.
We can help you with that, August. I can help you with that. For a little fee, of course, August. Hey, listen, you're not going anywhere. You and I are going to go to Wall Street. Thanks very much for coming on.